and we will get started. Here we go. All right. All right, so we already did live introductions, but what I did not ask you, if you could share this in the chat box, and Kelly's going to keep an eye on the chat box, is if you are a school day or after school program or something else, and if you are working directly with youth, if you can let us know if you are serving them in person, virtual, or in blended programs. So we're delighted to have you on today's professional learning community call for folks who are delivering or interested in delivering the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal using the entrepreneurship pathway. Here is our agenda for today. We're gonna, we did the introductions already. We're gonna tell you a little bit about why we're doing this professional learning community. We have a very impressive young man for you to meet. As Betsy said, she's gonna share information about her experience this summer. We're gonna talk about mentorship and what that looks like, some considerations for live and virtual environments. And then we have some additional resources that we're gonna share with you. And then we're hoping that you'll let us know what's happening in your program. So I'm Liz Nuskin. I am with the Ohio Afterschool Network. We're a statewide organization that is partnering with the Young Entrepreneur Institute, the Ohio Department of Education, and others to bring entrepreneur education to summer and out-of-school time programs. If you're not a member of the Ohio Afterschool Network, I encourage you to check out our website, www.ohioafterschoolnetwork.org. And we have lots of information about entrepreneurship on our website, including videos from our Summer Pitch Challenge competition. And then there's an entry-level membership for free that you can join. And I'm going to turn this over to Kelly now.
Hi, and I'm Kelly Bigger. Thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time. I am with the Young Entrepreneur Institute located in Northeast Ohio in the Cleveland area. And we believe that every child should learn and understand entrepreneurship, and that's whether or not they become an entrepreneur. So we have lots of great things on our website. Feel free to check it out. And we are graciously grant funded. So most of our services and programs that we have are free of charge. So we look forward to working with you and meeting you. And the next slide, I am going to introduce Talario Watkins, Tiger Mushroom Farms. And he is 12 years old. Oh, sorry. First off, the goals.
I'm trying to admit people and manage advancing slides. Sorry about that.
No worries. Great. Well, our goals for this is to offer you all any kind of technical assistance that you need. And we are available by Zoom, email, calls, and that includes Liz and I. It also includes Kayla and Charmaine with ODE in the Career Connections area. So feel free to call upon any of us should you have questions, need a consultation, or anything in this realm. We also think it's great just to get this group together, great group of people and educators and all kinds of different programs and areas of the state and age groups to share best practices, see what you're doing and what somebody else is doing, and not necessarily have to reinvent the wheel and hear what's going on. So, you know, great collective idea generation and problem sharing with one another. So we're talking about kind of once a month meeting. And also, you know, on each one, reviewing some resources that people are using, new resources we've found, and to just keep passing along information and check in and see how everybody's doing. And feedback to inform resource enhancement and development. What can we do being better? What else can we learn about? What else can we investigate? And hopefully you all watched, or we can send the clip again, but Kayla's clip on the Ohio Means Job Readiness Sealed Pathways. So if you haven't seen that, we're happy to pass it along to you, but it's a pretty quick clip and it'll give you a great overview of the program. So now to introduce Talario Watkins. And Talario was going to join us in person. He loves speaking in front of people, but he was at school today. So instead, he sent us a video, and he is 12 years old. Has anybody ever met him or seen him at a farmer's market in the Columbus area? Liz has, right? Liz, you've seen him.
I have.
So he is a very young entrepreneur at 12 years old, and he has also written a book, and you can get this on Amazon. It's just a quick paperback, Telario's Amazing Mushroom Farm. But this is his first time that he's ever done a video recording, and his mom said he did it all himself, and he was very excited to try something new. So Liz has that clip to play for us, and it'll give you a great idea of his background and what he's been doing in his young life.
And it's kind of a long clip. It's 14 minutes long. I don't think I'm going to share quite the whole thing or all of the whole thing, but I will send you the link. And there are a couple times when the audio gets loud, but I'll try to adjust that as best as I can. So let me hold that up here. He's a very impressive young man. Can everybody see this?
Hi, my name is Watkins, and I'm a 12-year-old mushroom farmer. I started my business when I was 7 years old after a Cub Scout project ended. We grew catgrass and basil, and it was so interesting I wanted to keep growing stuff. Then my parents wondered if we could grow in the winter, and I said mushrooms because mushrooms can grow in the dark. I grow shiitake, yellow oyster, and gray oyster mushrooms. My shiitake, you can go in spaghetti. My yellow can go in scrambled eggs, and my gray can go in seafood Alfredo. Here are some of my entrepreneur friends. Taylor the chef, Michaela with Me and the Bees Lemonade, John, who's an author and speaker just like me. He's also a magician. Gabrielle Jordan and Mose Bose. Here are some of my mentors. Dr. Frederick Bertley, who's the president of COSI. He's also my favorite scientist. Joe DeLuxe from Hot Chicken Takeover. Jenny's from Jenny's Splendid Ice Cream. Nick and Alex from Back to the Roots. Ron Finley, the gangster gardener. Christine Gross, a serial entrepreneur. Mr. Les Brown, who endorsed my book, said I have greatness within me. And we also gave him some mushrooms. This is me at Washington, D.C. for Report to the Nation. Report to the Nation is a report the Boy Scouts have to give to the Capitol. I've met a lot of important people at Report to the Nation. Like Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown. I also met his daughter a couple months later. Today, I'm going to talk about 4 entrepreneur mindsets that are important to me. The first one is adaptability. Before the pandemic, I sold my mushroom at several farmers markets all across the city. But now that the pandemic has started, a lot of those farmers markets have had to shut down their markets. So now I only do one farmer's market, the Worthington market. I had to adapt my market input. I also used to ship my mushrooms to a lot of restaurants. But now I only do one restaurant, the Sassafras Bakery, where they use my mushrooms to make a creamy mushroom galette, which is delicious. And they're also making a mushroom and garlic scone. I also used to ship my mushrooms to grocery stores and the hospital. But now I only ship my mushrooms to a grocery store in the North Market called Mini Super. And because I can't ship my fresh products anymore because of the pandemic, I decided to look more into my seasoning. The second one is embracing failure. I got to participate in the Farm to School program for Columbus City Schools. There, I met Sherrod Brown's daughter, Councilwoman Elizabeth Brown. After I met Councilwoman Elizabeth Brown, I did the Student Rebuild Hunger Challenge for the Bezos Foundation. And every recipe that you give, and you got to create recipes. Yes. You created your own recipe, you take a picture, and then you send it to my email, tigermushroomfarms.com. Every recipe that you sent in, you would get $3 donated to the Bezos Foundation, which they donate to Looking Hungry, or an organization helping to fight hunger. I also reserved a part of the library so that I could interview Councilwoman Elizabeth Brown about food insecurity or food justice in our community. And when I renovated the library, when I reserved the part of the library, he thought he put it out there well, and I prepared a lot of it, the food and the drinks and everything, and prepared it to make it a big event, and nobody showed up. So,
right. Okay, I'm gonna leave you hanging there because I just loved how honest he was about putting all that work into having an interview with Councilwoman Elizabeth Brown. But he just gives some great examples of the entrepreneurial mindset, and just think about all the doors that have been opened because of his work in entrepreneurship. And he's a very impressive young man. And when I send you the link to the video, I hope you'll watch it because you can also find out about his social entrepreneurship and philanthropy where he's been giving back to the community. So let me just go back. Uh-oh, hold on, I guess. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, share my screen.
Yeah, we did. I did play his video for our group this summer. It's in the YEI Toolkit.
And I bet your students thought that was cool to see a young person.
Yeah.
But okay, so.
Sounds good. And we want to thank Betsy Covington for joining us, Director of Engagement at the Geauga Growth Partnership. And as she said, she's going to tell us about the summer and what she's done and all the great things they're thinking about.
Yeah, that's great.
You should be able, I made you a co-presenter, so you should be
Okay.
able to share your screen. If not,
I think I got it.
I'll push a button. There we go.
Okay. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about Geauga Growth Partnership and some of our youth programming. We are a nonprofit economic development serving the businesses in Geauga County as a resource for networking, collaboration, advocacy, and training. Our mission is to enhance the economic climate in Geauga County by attracting new business, supporting existing business, and one of my passions, preparing the workforce of the future. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about some of the programming that we've done in the past that we're trying to continue in a virtual way. So we do career awareness tours of our local businesses. NEOEA Day, which actually we're doing a virtual NEOEA Day this Friday, where the educators get to tour businesses, and the management and HR talks about the career pathways that they have at the local businesses. We're really heavy in manufacturing, so we like to keep the kids' eyes open and and the educators' eyes open and what opportunities exist in manufacturing. And then they talk about the education, the training, and certifications that the students would need to attain these careers. And the career pathways, start from entry level, right out of high school, all the way through, graduate degrees. And then we also do the same tours or similar tours for 8th graders. In terms of career readiness, we hosted at Kent State Geauga sophomore, junior, and senior days, where we work on those professional skills, those soft skills. We work with local HR professionals and from a variety of industries, and we do the DISC assessment, which is really cool. We teach them, help them write their resumes. We do mock interviews, set up their LinkedIn profiles, talk about post-secondary education or career pathways, options for them. And so this year we are doing that virtual NEOEA Day on Friday. And then we are using those. We just finished with the recordings. We did Zoom recordings of different organizations. And it's really cool to hear them tell their stories about their organization and what kind of careers they have available and what kind of certifications and also tuition reimbursement that they have to offer and training that they have to offer. And so we're going to be doing a whole day with teachers on Friday, and then we're going to use those videos to go out to the schools and promote these virtual tours to 6th through 8th graders for awareness. We're also working on career readiness future focused Fridays, which is also going to be virtual, and we're gonna kind of mimic that those in-person career readiness workshops, but we're just going to try to do them online. We haven't started working on that program quite yet. The other thing that we did in February of 2020 was we hosted a career exploration open house, and we focused on the 4 E's: employment, enlistment, entrepreneurship, and enrollment. And so we had a presentation about what a career pathway is, and talking about careers of the future, and again, those certifications, trainings, and education you might need to get that career. And then we had breakout sessions. So we had an employment breakout session, enlistment, and entrepreneurship, and then enrollment breakout sessions. And during those sessions, we also had organizations that did tabling. This was meant to partially be our intern open house for the summer, but we weren't able to have that internship program, so I'll tell you what we did in lieu of that. And in terms of 2021, that's TBD. It just depends on what's happening with the pandemic and how this looks for next year. But it was definitely a successful program, so we would like to do it again. So in lieu of our internship program, so our internship program is a summer internship program where we partner with local businesses who host interns, juniors and seniors in high school, and they get real world experience. It's a paid internship, and they basically make a network for their lifetime. I mean, I hear over and over again the stories of these interns who kept in touch with their previous employer, came back and worked for that previous employer, or worked for another employer that was in Geauga County at the time, and that GGP internship really set them up for success. But because we couldn't execute that this year because of the pandemic, and we also were looking for ways to continued in different ways to support students in Geauga County. We became really interested in the Ohio Department of Education graduation, the new graduation requirements. And we started looking into the OMJ Readiness Seal, and that's when we started talking to YEI. And it just opened up a whole new world for us in terms of programming and what we could potentially do. So we started talking to YEI, and they introduced us to the Entrepreneurship Pathway curriculum. So we were like, how can we use this? How can we use this now during this time, sort of downtime for us? So we decided to pilot the program this summer. We offered it to interns who had applied and also past interns. We had a very small response, but in hindsight, that was great because we were able to sort of tweak the program and work with these kids and get feedback. So it was an 8-week program. We met Wednesday evenings via Zoom, and it culminated in a pitch contest. And the pitch contest was judged by members of our board, and then they received the winner received a prize, and the other kids did receive a reward for participating. So we gave them a sort of certificate of completion and then a letter of recommendation that they could take on to, a future employer, just to show that they had gone through the program. So as I said, it was 8 workshops. These are the topics of each workshop: entrepreneurship and creativity, design thinking, problem identification, finding your passion, identifying your skills, business opportunity, value proposition. Sorry, I'm reading. Message maps, pitch development. Then we did a pitch practice, and then we did something that I thought was kind of cool. And I don't know if a typical curriculum would do this, but I had them do a draft video, and then we reviewed those and we gave them feedback. So they were able to sort of tweak their videos and make them better. So I just want to talk a little bit about the tools that we used. We used that as a jumping off point. We used the 12-session entrepreneur curriculum smash up that you provided me, and we adapted it into 8 sessions. We used the pitch challenge toolkit. The videos were invaluable. I just thought it was so great to have those. We also went into the Venture Lab curriculum and pulled some stuff from there, and People Rocket, we pulled some stuff from there to kind of develop our own program. I loved these worksheets. These were so great, and it just it brought everything together for the kids. So we would work on problem identification, and so we would have that problem identification. They would have that written down, sort of observing their world around them, and observing other people and observing their day, and then finding problems in the world that they thought they could solve, and then looking at their skills and their passions. So we did sort of a workshop on skills and passions, and then they could put those on this Venn diagram and kind of like come up with their business idea. So this worksheet. So what I would do is we would do a workshop, and then I would send them home with a worksheet, and then that would be homework, and then they would come back and we would review those worksheets. Now, because it was a small group, we were able to talk through each worksheet together. With a larger group, obviously, you wouldn't be able to do that. And then putting it together, the value proposition matrix, also a very valuable tool. And then working on story mapping. So like I said, I just love these worksheets. They really helped the kids think through what they were doing, and it helped them to develop their pitch. We also, in every workshop, we talked about their pitch, and we did public speaking activities, and I have the videos here from the toolkit, the sample videos, because those were really important to show the kids that it didn't have to be a polished ad, that it was more about their idea and the way they communicated it, and not about having a prototype and having a logo. So those videos were really neat to show the kids to say, like, these are examples of really good pitches, and they're because of the way that the student communicated and the type of business opportunity they came up with. So now we are at a point. So then we had the pitch competition, and we had the judging, and they got their you know, their certificates and their awards. And, you know, I'm trying to figure out how I can re-engage these kids. They've gone back to school, they're really busy, but they were a great, like I said, it was a great pilot program and a great group of kids to try this out on. Our next step is we presented this to our BAC, and we are working on getting in front of the superintendents. I really feel, after having this experience, that we can do this in Geauga County. I'm just trying to, and maybe, you know, someone out there can help me a little bit more think through how to execute it virtually, whether it would be pre-recorded sessions, live Zooms, because the population in Geauga County, like, I guess I'm thinking that maybe I need to start with one school. I'm not really sure, because it could be a lot of kids. It could potentially be, you know, a large group. You know, I would need some support from the school, because there would be the worksheets and the tasks assigned in between, and who's going to look at those and who's going to who's going to evaluate that. But I really am excited about it, and I really do feel that it can happen. And I think this rubric is a really great visual to show educators, so they know that this program does meet all those proficiencies. You know, it's a nice checklist for them to say, you know, yeah, this does meet all those proficiencies for the readiness seal. So I'm excited about it, and I want to make it happen, and I want to go big on it, but I'm just trying to figure out how that looks.
That's great, Betsy. Thanks for sharing. Tyler says he can help you, so we'll have to have a side conversation because we want to hear more about what Tyler's doing, but that's very exciting. Any questions for Betsy before we move on to our next section, talking about the mentoring requirement, or comments? All right, I'm going to share my screen. All right, so I loved that Talario really kind of queued up this whole conversation around the mentorship piece when he shared in his video some of the mentors who were important to him, including Jenny Britton Bauer from Jenny's Ice Cream and Jenny's Splendid Ice Creams, and others. But that mentorship piece we know is important for all students and entrepreneurs, and that is part of the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. So I did take a screenshot from some of the ODE materials on how they describe mentors. So every student is required to have 3 mentors. The school mentor, so that would be someone from during the school day who knows the student. The community mentor for a student served in a after-school program located at the district or in a community organization, like Betsy's, could be the community mentor, but we really need to also satisfy the work mentor component. And so that would be someone who has interacted with the student through this entrepreneurship piece. So these little screenshots over here are from the validation form, which I'll show you in a second. We have a description of that. So in the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal rubric, there is a description of the different levels of skill in the student that the mentor would be required to attest to in that validation form. So they're the green ones, which mean they've met or that exceeds the expectation, or the red ones, as described here, require further development, and they're described in greater detail for each of the skills that are required to be demonstrated through Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. This is a screenshot of the top of that validation form, and this is available on the ODE website. If you haven't seen it before, I can send a link in our follow-up communication. So we created 5 and 12 session pathways. These are suggestions for how you can facilitate the entrepreneurship education to meet those required skills that are described here along the top. So here, just to review on the 5-session material here, we have the sessions that are outlined, how long each of the exercises are in each of those sessions, and then how they satisfy developing and demonstrating those different skills that are required. And on the bottom here, it shows which of those mentors would attest to those skills. So in the 5-session pathway, a mentor would be someone who serves as a judge for a pitch contest. After the pitch, he or she would meet with the student to discuss his or her business idea and the pitch. And then they would rate the student's skill and professionalism as they participate in that conversation and maybe receive some constructive feedback about their business idea and their pitch. And then they would sign on that validation form. For the 12-session pathway, you can see here, these 12 sessions are outlined. There's a little bit more to the mentor role. So as we've outlined it, the mentor would be interviewed by the student. There's an optional job shadowing day, which may not be able to happen if it's during COVID times and everything's virtual. So that is optional. They would provide coaching on the student's business idea and pitch. They would attend or participate in that pitch, whether it's live or virtual, and reflect with the student on their pitch content and delivery. And again, they would rate the student's professionalism and sign that validation form. Any questions or comments about that review of the mentor requirements in those 5 and 12-session pathways? I see Tyler shaking his head no, so I'm going to move on, but speak up if somebody does have questions. So this just shows here on those forms that we've kind of shaded in those blocks that show who would sign for what. So we really wanted to start thinking about how can that mentoring happen today, particularly if it's going to be virtual mentoring. So I'm hoping to hear from you if you can unmute yourself or share in the chat box. Do you know what your district's or organization's privacy and safety policies are? Are there policies for screening volunteers? Is this something that anyone has looked into?
I mean, we use volunteers, business volunteers all the time for all of our programs in person and virtually more recently. And this question has never come up. And I don't know if it's just that we're, when it's in person, it's a big group and, they're not like one-on-one with the student, but it's just never come up.
I think, and it's kind of, people have asked me particularly if there's going to be a one-on-one virtual session between a mentor and a student, what our advice would be. Has anybody else, Angela or anyone else, encountered this issue?
I think we're going to take the approach, if we do virtual with our volunteers, that they will have to have background checks just the same as if they were coming in person, because a background check could reveal if there's something, that isn't right, that doesn't fit in with our district policy. And all our volunteers always have background checks. So we're just going to move it over to virtual exactly the way that we do our in-person volunteers. And then if we do, we may have breakout rooms to where we would have I can't think of the word, but a mediator that would be able to pop in each of the rooms to just, say, hey, this person's going to be popping in and out, just as an extra layer of safety. That's just kind of we talked about and we're thinking about with ours. I don't know. Does that sound like too much?
No, Liz,
Is
that's
it
kind of the approach that we're taking as well.
Okay.
the popping in and out or the background check or both, Angela?
Well, the background check primarily, just because the volunteer policy just states that, and we just want to stay in compliance with that. And you, like she said, it could reveal something that we're not aware of.
It's helpful that those policies are already in place, so then you can follow and adapt those for virtual interactions. So so Kayla Mickens from the Ohio Department of Education, who we've been working with, is working on developing some guidance for this. It's not quite ready yet, and she's interested in hearing what you folks have to say or have questions about. But some of the things that she's thought about is if for virtual mentoring, that you would want to use a school or program platform like Google Classrooms or Zoom that you're familiar with, that you would want to have a trusted adult participate either for the full time or popping in and out like Angela and Laura have mentioned. And that could be someone from the school or the program, or it could be even a parent to have that adult be in the virtual room at the same time. You would also want to think about parent communication and what their involvement would be. And then her thinking is that you might want to consider having a pledge that the mentor would sign that would include potentially some standard expectations that would be included whether we were virtual or not. So what is the time commitment? What are the expectations of them? Don't contact students outside of the sponsored program where they're matched with the student. Or if they do want to contact the student, that they would know who to go through to communicate with that student. And as I think about it, actually, these could be in a pledge for in-person mentoring as well. That mentors would not take pictures of students unless there was permission, or it would be the school or program staff who would be taking that, and that there should be a consent form. You would have them pledge to give that unbiased evaluation of that professionalism skill on that Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal rubric that we just reviewed. What other thoughts do you have about protections to put into place around that virtual mentoring, or what else should be included in a pledge? Or do you think that covers everything? Or does anybody use a pledge for their volunteers currently? Or some sort of agreement?
We have a signature, a sign-off page, but then also the BOE would get a list of volunteers and approve them.
That goes, is that like does that go to a board meeting or something?
Yes, after the background checks are completed.
Yeah.
I can also think, I know when we did some micro programs with the 21st Century Grant with a program, there were people that did drop out because of the background check. It was it was just one more added thing that they had to do on top of everything. So we saw as a hindrance. But one of the programs that we're working with right now allows you to communicate via video through a pre-recorded video. So like a question is answered, and then you can spit it out to 1,000 people and then get a reply, and then somebody can reply back with the video. I wonder if in some manner that may be a good way of being able to get the kids' questions and get somebody to reply without being live, but rather a short recording.
An asynchronous kind of back and forth.
Yeah.
And it would be recorded. That's an interesting idea. Anyone else? All right. So hopefully that's food for thought for you as you're thinking about how you're going to implement this. If you have other questions or suggestions for Kayla on what might want to go into her guidance, let us know, or we can share Kayla's contact information with you. I think I turn it over to, I think I've talked over some of Kelly's parts, but I'm pretty sure this is hers.
No worries at all. Thanks, Betsy, for your great information. Loved all that you have done and are doing. And Liz and I actually divided the toolkit up into 4 training opportunities to do a little deeper dive into it. If anybody's interested, we actually already just did problem identification this morning, and we did tape it, so we're happy to give you the recording of that. October 20th, we're going to do business opportunity. The 2nd of November, pitch content. And then November 17th, like pitch practice, filming, and planning to host a pitch challenge. So welcome to have yourself jump in on any of that, or your facilitators. We're happy to have you. And we will send you these slides afterwards so you can have the link if you wish to register. Additional opportunities, we will at the Young Entrepreneur Institute be having a pitch video contest coming up starting mid-October until the end of February, and that will be announced very shortly. We're just getting all our ducks in a row and our platform organized. So would love anybody who wishes to have kids join in that. It's K through 12. You can be homeschool, after school, in school. Anybody is welcome to join our contest. And as well, Liz with the Ohio After School Network is going to do an after school pitch challenge. They did an awesome one this summer and had 88 kids enter the pitch challenge, which is a great number considering everything that was going on this summer. And those will be high school students that are participating in an out of school program. So again, that's the same time frame from October to the end of February. So more information to come on that. And then just to let you know, OAN and YEI are also working with the Ohio STEM Learning Network and their STEM Powers Ohio Design Challenge. So that kicked off September 21st, and it goes until April. It is K through 4 as well. Teams or individuals reimagine energy consumption or production to improve their in their community. And the optional portion is to join one or both of our pitch challenges. There are free trainings with that as well. And if you hop on that website, the osln.org, you can learn all about it. Just any kind of questions, answers, and also while we're in this time, you know, maybe kind of talking through, is this a good time of day for a November meeting? Good time for a November meeting, and just to maybe put that on our calendar for next month. But what kind of questions do all of you have, or best practices to share, or anything you'd want to talk about?
Including what you're doing in your program or what you're thinking about.
Absolutely.
Tyler, we'd like to hear more about what you're doing. Can I put you on the spot? You're muted.
I have too many screens up. I actually have 6 screens up in this room. If you
Oh
go
my
to the
God.
control
I could use
room.
another one.
Well, right now we're actually working on some pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs, and coming off a summer manufacturing camp, which is a big entrepreneurship project for us. So we're designing software for career pathways and trying to find a way to incorporate entrepreneurship into them. You know, one of our big things is everybody's an entrepreneur themselves. You're in business. You know, what you invest in yourself is what you're going to get back out of the world. So very, very, very excited to be working with you guys now, Betsy. I was actually just looking at how to be able to put instructors into our learning management software. So if you're a mentor, you'll actually be able to work with the student, be able to do the progression. I think we can convert the rubric into one of our LMS learning management system as a progression piece. So we actually can do the rubric as an interactive piece. So we can do videos, the students can do videos, watch the videos, and then be able to complete as they go, and the mentors will fill back in. So as we're designing that curriculum, I think this can fit right in there. So more than happy to help out.
That's great. That we'll have to talk.
Absolutely, yeah, because that's one of the things.
Thanks.
One of the things I had as a question on the YEI is in our community they use a much longer process with their entrepreneurship program. It's like I think it's 6 months or 9 months with their entrepreneurship thing. So there's a lot of students that aren't able to make that kind of a commitment. So we're looking at YEI as a way to be able to reach out to a much broader avenue. I heard you guys mention that the pitch is kind of what's focused on. So they aren't actually producing what they're creating, or what is the goal and the timeline on that? I'm kind of curious of that.
That's correct, Tyler. We actually, the pitch challenge itself, and I can give you the link to the pitch toolkit, is sort of a light lift. It's actually like a 5-session curriculum with problem identification, business opportunity, putting your pitch together, nice content and structure, practicing, and then some sort of culminating event, whether it's a video, a live contest, a showcase, you know, a parent night, anything that would be a nice culmination. So a super light lift, very flexible. You can do it in person, you can do it online, and you can pretty much do these lessons in 45 minutes to an hour. So you could do this in 5 hours. So you can do it in a week, you can do it in a month, you can do it 1 day a week. But also you can use other resources that we have in the toolkit or that are out there on our website, Venture Labs, People Rocket that Betsy talked about, to go for a deeper dive if you want to do 12 sessions or if you want to do a whole semester. So lots of different uses for it. But like you said, if you want something that's a little lighter lift, the pitch challenge is really, like Betsy said, you know, coming up with a problem, you know, something in your community, in your life that's bugging you that you think needs to be fixed, taking your passions, what are you good at, you know, your assets, and then trying to find the intersection of those two to come up with a business opportunity, something that has unique advantages that people want and need, and something that you're good at and you like doing. And so the kids do not need to start the business. They do not need to have a prototype. As Betsy said, it doesn't need to be fancy. Literally, a lot of our videos are just taken like in the classroom with a door or a white background. So we meant it to be a really light lift, getting the creative juices flowing, thinking of youth voice, youth as problem solvers, looking at opportunities to solve problems for kids, and then of course that great pitch aspect, which, you know, as you said, we're kind of all entrepreneurs and we all really use pitches all the time. You know, when you think of a 30 to 60 to 90 second elevator pitch, you know, every day you're pitching practically. And, you know, these kids have to tell their teacher why their homework's late, or talk their parents into having a pet, or their friends into going to the movie they want, or a job interview or college interview. So, you know, if you're really good at a good 60-second pitch, it's just such a great life skill. So that's sort of what we aim for, but we also have just tons of resources and happy to, you know, pass along what we know. We're, you know, super collaborative. So we're always, you know, saying, you know, we just want everybody to do entrepreneurship and the mindset. So we don't mind whether you use the pitch challenge or Venture Lab or People Rocket or Bake Me a Leader or anything else that's out there, but lots of good resources to use.
Because that's why I was curious, you know, the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal is a very, it's daunting. You know, there's a lot of people, you know, with the amount of time, there's time requirements and that. So even with the light lift, you guys do feel that that would be able to meet those requirements in the Readiness Seal?
So we worked with the Ohio Department of Education Career Connections Office to develop those pathways. So ODE has been involved in that process and has, you know, they're not in the position of approving it really, but they work with us to develop it. It's each individual school district needs to approve it because they're the ones that are then assigning the Ohio Means Jobs Readiness Seal. And everyone is feel free to use it as a starting point, and you can, you know, adapt that if your school district wants more or less of one thing or another. Then, you know, go right ahead and use, you know, the resources that we provided you, and we can direct you to others as well. Does that answer your question, Tyler? I'm thinking, yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions or comments before we move on? I think we're almost at the end. What do we have here? Okay. Yes.
Evan, I see your question, and where can I find these resources again? And you know, we will send out an email afterwards and give you links to everything and all the different resources. And then if there's something that more that you need, feel free to contact us. And speaking of resources, Liz has put out this nice slide. As we said, trainings, you know, we are grant funded and graciously, and so we are able to do trainings for you. So if you have a group of facilitators who want to do the pitch challenge or want to do something entrepreneurial, we are happy to do training. We are typically a trainer model. In Northeast Ohio, we do a little bit more, you know, we'll go to a classroom or Zoom into a classroom and do a training as well. We have the pitch challenge curriculum that we are happy to send you the registration link for project. And we have on-demand technical assistance. So anything that you need, if you run into a problem, you know, feel free to shoot us an email. Guest instructors, guest speakers. On our website is a speakers bureau. So it used to be people who would go into Northeast Ohio and go into the classroom or after school program, but now a lot of them will Zoom in to other areas in Ohio. So feel free to look at those speakers and see if anything fits in well with your program.
Can I ask a question about the speakers?
Absolutely.
So are they industry specific, or is it about entrepreneurship overall, or is it like, how is it sort of organized, or what types of?
Hey, Liz, can you
Yeah.
pop either I can you
Give me a
pop it?
second. I'll pull it up. Hold on a second.
Okay.
I'll pull it up.
Sorry, I know we only have a few minutes
Oh,
left.
no, that's all right. It's easier just to look at it and you guys can see it. So it is now done by kind of grade. So it says elementary, middle, high school.
Okay.
It has a little TV if they will zoom in. And then there's a little synopsis once you plug into it as to, you know, what the person would speak about or what their area of expertise is.
Okay.
So Liz is just pulling it up. And so as you can see there, you know, Jared Anderson, he's an entrepreneur. Here's his shared lessons, business and marketing, sports, adversity, hard work. And then you can click on the full bio to learn more. So just a huge variety of different speakers that are on here. Tara Dawn is great. And well, they're all great. But, you know, just depending on what you're looking for. There's Bob Gillingham from Bob Gillingham Ford, Ethan Holmes Applesauce. So there's a couple of young people. Ethan, Ann's really young, just out of college. So just kind of all different types of resources that you need in terms of speakers.
Great.
So
Thank you. I just, we're always looking for people to speak. So
yeah, absolutely. And Betsy, if you have any questions or want any others, just give us a call and we're happy to help.
Okay.
Liz,
Thanks.
can you just click over to like the resource directory under resources really quick? I just wanted to show you guys this as well. So this is kind of neat because you can pop in, so under resource directory, you can say, oh, what could we do camp-wise for, you know, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders? So you can use these categories and the grades, and then it will tell you, it will filter out some of these great resources to look at. So there's a lot of them, and you're welcome just to, you know, go down the resource list and look at them, or you can filter it out for what you're looking for. So this is another, it typically just gives you a little, like, Liz, if you just click on like Bake Me a Leader, it just gives you a little bit of a synopsis, and then there's a link to take you to the website for you to contact that person. So this is a good resource too, and it gives ages and all that kind of good stuff. So that's another resource directory for you guys to use.
We'll send those links. And just also, let me just go back to the, share my screen on here. Okay, so here, and then, so here's where you go to get the Young Entrepreneur Pitch Toolkit. We've got, we did a group this summer that did an asynchronous self-study program with a high school student, and then Venture Lab is a partner. They've got just amazing, they've got age-banded, more of a deeper dive with 20 sessions. They got lots of resources for students. They have they have a startup funding mentorship program called Spark for youth entrepreneurs. They have monthly pitch practices that are not competitions, but an opportunity for students to deliver their pitch and get live feedback from entrepreneurs. So lots of great resources there. There's their website, and their lessons, more of their lessons are included in the 20 session. And then Kelly, do you want to mention Inspire? How are we doing on time? Oh, we're just right at it.
Yeah, great. If anybody wants to join us, I don't know if some of you have been to Inspire in the past, but it's a conference that we've typically had in person in Northeast Ohio. Last year, I think we had just under 600 people, but this year it's virtual. So we'd be happy to have anybody join us from afar. We're calling it a Fall Fest. We're doing kind of October 17th, which is the Saturday morning, December 6th, which is the Saturday morning, and then November 5th through the 8th. But the registration is up. The first speaker is Dina Simmons, who is going to speak on building equity in the classroom, and that is from 8:45 to noon on October 17th. It's free. Feel free to pass it along to anybody you know who might want to delve into our conference. And then there'll be other speakers, Heather McGowan, Kim Bearden, and Ashley Ammon. So lots of really fun things going on with that. So feel free to sign up for one or the whole thing. We'd be happy to have you.
Here's our contact information. So we're excited to talk with you individually. It doesn't just have to be on our monthly professional learning community time. So let us know if you want to follow up, and we can talk and brainstorm and be thought partners and find resources for you. Just reach out, and there are our email addresses. Any last questions or comments before we wrap up at 2:02?
Thanks a lot. It was great.
Glad you could join us today. Thanks so much to Betsy and Telerio. I'll send you that video so you can finish watching it and find out how he learned from failure and learn more about him. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of the day.
Thank you, everyone.